So I came home today and I was praying, and after work I was praying. I was just spending time alone with the Lord, and I was thinking about things, and I was telling Him and talking to Him and praying to Him about things that I just wrestling with in my mind and whatnot and thinking about. And lately that the spirit has been telling me that, hey, you need to tell more people about Jesus. You need to be more vocal. And I mean, you post all these Bible verses and things like that, but you need to do a video. Just do a video. And so after when I was praying to Him and talking to Him, sometimes you just, not only are you praying, but you're kind of preaching, and you're preaching to yourself. And something just came out of my mouth, and I was like, that's good. Like that is awesome. Like someone else needs to hear that. Like that wasn't just for you. That was for somebody else that you need to tell. And it just went like this. It was just like God Himself. God willingly went to the grave so that one day, so that He might have the opportunity to get you out of yours. And when that came out of my mouth, it's probably much smoother than that, but it came out of my mouth, and I was just like, dude, that's good. Like, you ain't gotta have a pastor's degree. You ain't gotta have the name Pastor Cody or Pastor whatever to be able to have something like that come out of your mouth. That's just purely the Spirit of the good Lord above that just came out, and you don't have to be a pastor to tell people about Jesus. And that, I mean, we think like, okay, Jesus Christ was in fact God in human flesh. All right, he was God who took on flesh, who came down to the earth, who was born as a baby, preached and teached his whole into his adult life, where he went to the cross and he died and he rose again and he saved everybody from their sin and all that stuff. We believe in all that stuff, and I believe in all that stuff. And I just was like, when that just came out of my mouth, like, Jesus Christ was in fact God. He was God in flesh. All right? He willingly knew that He was going to die, because that was the only way He could save Cody Wilson and everybody else from their sin. That's the only way He could do it, is if He died and if He rose again. That's the only way, because we could never do anything good enough to enter heaven. Nothing. There's nothing I could ever do that would make me good enough or qualified enough to enter heaven. It's never going to happen. The only way it was going to happen is if God Himself did it for us. And that's exactly what He did. And I mean, that makes me think that's sweet. Like, God Himself went to the grave, willingly went to the grave, and died, so that He might have the opportunity to get me out of mine. Because one day I am going to die, and one day I'm going 6 feet under, or and you are too. Whether you admit it or not, or whether you realize it or not, you are going to die. And the only way you're getting out, of that 6-foot hole that you're going under, is if Jesus Christ tells you to get up and get out. The only way you're going to escape death on this earth is, I guess, if you're still alive when he parts that eastern sky and He comes back. But you can't. You just gotta. Just to think about it, I don't even know the words to say. I don't. There's nothing I can do to get out that hole. There's nothing I can do to escape death. I've already sinned. I've already fallen short. We all have. The only chance we got is Jesus. That is the only chance we got. So if you don't think about anything else today, nothing else, just think about that. Because I felt like the Spirit made me say that came out of my mouth, and it drove me to make a video and to tell you that God Himself, Jesus Christ, who is in fact God in flesh, willingly went to the grave, to His death, to that cross, so that He might have the opportunity and chance to get you out of your grave. Period. That is the only way you're getting out, is if you believe that, and if you abide in that, and you put your faith in that, and you realize that you can't do it, that there's nothing that you could ever do to be good enough to get you into heaven. The only way you are getting out of that 6-foot hole that you're going in is if Jesus Christ gets you out. If he tells the Father one day that, yeah, that person with me, that Cody Wilson is with me, that Cody Wilson believed in me, that Cody Wilson had a relationship with me, that Cody Wilson abided in me and trusted in me, that is the only way I'm getting into heaven. That is the only way that I'm getting off this earth. That is the only way that I'm getting out of that 6-foot hole that I'm going under, that you are going under. So that very thing that I just said, you can just take my name out of it and insert your name into it. Because that is the only way you're getting into heaven. That is the only way you're getting out of that hole. Is not by anything you did, but by everything that he did. And by believing in that, and by abiding in that, and by following Jesus. That is the only way. You know, one of my favorite passages in the Bible, when it talks about that narrow is the gate that leads to heaven, but broad is the pathway that is the highway that leads to hell. You know, narrow is the pathway that leads to the gate of heaven, but broad is the roads and the highways that lead to hell, and that many are going to hell, but few are going to heaven. Many find the roads and the highways that goes to hell, that leads to hell. A lot of people are going and don't even know it, but very few people ever find the pathway that leads to heaven. And it's a pathway. It's like a pathway through the woods going up the mountain that you can't even see because it's leaves and it's trees and you can barely even see it. That's what it looks like. That's the road to heaven. That's what the road to heaven looks like. But the highway to hell is just like, it's like a massive highway that you're flying down to go down to Myrtle Beach or something. And it's like 4 or 5 lanes and everybody's just going, and you're just going because everybody else is going, and that's what it's like. And if you're not saved and you don't believe and you don't abide and you don't have a relationship with the Lord, then you don't understand what I'm talking about. But if you do, you do understand what I'm talking about. And I just pray that you do. You know, I just pray that you know Him, and that you put your hope, and that you put your trust, and that you put your faith in Him, and that you abide in Him, so that one day that when you stand before God, it's going to be God there, and Jesus is going to be there, or Jesus is not going to be there. And you're either going to meet. I like to tell people, or I don't tell enough people, honestly, and I should tell more people this, but I love to, one of the things I like to say is, you're either going to meet Jesus Christ as your Savior, or you're going to meet Him as your judge. You got 2 options, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not. You got 2 ways you are going to meet Jesus, and you're either going to meet Him as your Savior, or you're going to meet Him as your judge. He's either going to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant, come on in," or He's going to say, "Depart from me, because I never knew you. I never had a relationship with you. I never truly knew you. You never gave me your life. You never abided in me. You never followed me. You never listened to me. I never knew you." And Jesus Himself said most people are going to hell. Jesus said that. Jesus talked about hell way more, dude. Way more than He ever talked about heaven. And that makes me think, like, why would He do that? Because He's warning you. Because He's giving you an ultimatum. He's giving you an option. He's telling you what's going to happen before it happens, because He already knows what is going to happen. But you have that chance. You have that opportunity to choose Him and choose life, and to choose heaven, or to reject Him and choose hell. And He doesn't want to send you there. He doesn't want to. But He will. He will. Because God is love and grace and joy and mercy and forgiveness and all those good things that everybody likes to say. But He is equally wrath. And He's equally wrath. And if you don't believe in Him, if you're not saved, if you don't have that salvation, one day you're going to meet Him as your judge, man. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So, just think about that. Think about that today. If you don't think about anything else, just think about that. Just think about God Himself. where Jesus Christ was in fact God himself in flesh. He came here. He came here to this earth, to the very earth that he created. He came here and he willingly went to the grave, willingly went to his grave, knowing that that is the only way that he could possibly get you out of yours. And all you got to do is believe. All you got to do is believe. And all you got to do is abide. And all you got to do is have a relation with him, walk with him, follow him. He says, you already know the way. I am the way. Jesus Christ is the way. Follow me. And you will get heaven. Just think about that. You guys be blessed. Love you.